Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Frantic Talks podcast, episode 49. I am your host, Frantic. With me, as always, is my lovely co-host,
Grunt.
And we are here to talk about video games.
And junk.
And junk. Did not mean to sound like I was upset. It's just 2017. We are finally out of 2016.
We are indeed.
Oh, I'm excited about that. Mainly because it's been, what is today, the 7th? 7 days, and there's been no celebrities dead, so we're starting off strong.
It's a plus side for sure.
It's a super plus side. Anyways, before we get into anything else, I'm going to run over our quote-unquote advertisements, but it's really just self-promotion. Anyways, if you want to continue the conversation beyond the live chat and beyond the podcast, head to Twitcher. Wow. Dude, it's been like a month since we've talked. Twitter, and you can hit me up. I am at FranticJ3. He's over here. He is at Onyx Spartan, ONYX, all one word. And if you want to hit up the official Frantic Talks Twitter account, it is at Frantic_Talks. Head over to Facebook.com/Frantic Talks, all one word. That is where you will find us posting about typically our articles, other random things like the podcasts. Speaking of podcasts, head to the mothership. It's on screen in the background if you're watching the video form of this, either live or on YouTube, which I'll get to. That's where you see all our podcasts. If you want to click through the links to the categories, you can see some of the old stuff we used to talk about. We really only do video games, though. Magic the Gathering, though, is there, and that'll take you to magic.frantictalks.com, where you will see our ongoing partner series, which we have yet to post a new article in because of the holidays, but we do have more written and will be coming soon.
We do.
And what that means is just we're writing about the new partner commanders for Magic. If you don't know what any of those words mean, I apologize. But you could find out what they mean if you went on that site.
You totally should. Just because
You should. They're really cool and a lot of fun. And then beyond that, head to twitch.tv/Frantic Talks. That would be all one word again. That is where you will find this podcast live every Saturday, normally, at 3 p.m. Eastern, normally. I say normally because we'll sometimes change it up depending on the schedules, as in our last podcast was in middle of December, and now we're in January. But that's the holidays.
Holidays, yo.
You expect that. And then you can head over to YouTube, search up Frantic Talks. That's where you can find all the video forms of this, along with the Sunday show that I normally do where I talk about music, and eventually more videos to come. We're talking of doing different video gaming videos, along with more music stuff that I've been doing. And I guess we'll talk more about that briefly in a moment. And if you don't want to search on YouTube, you could always just click on one of the podcasts on the Frantic Talks website, and you'll find most of the links I just mentioned to get you to where you need to go. So,
or you could search us on YouTube and hit the subscribe button.
Yeah, hit the subscribe button. Then you don't have to worry about finding some random URL. And the good news is, if we hit 100 subscribers, I could give the next 100 people a URL. So, I think that's about it. All right. It's been a while, guys. It hasn't been like crazy amounts of time, but we haven't talked since last year. Oh, had to get that joke out of the way.
Oh my god, I'm done.
Nope. Oh man, that's how we start. Grunt, how was your week? Or I guess the past couple of weeks. How was your year?
I mean, this year's going great so far, considering we're only like 7 days into it.
Oh, I know. I feel it. Oh, jeez, I just choked on my spit.
That's what you get for that horrible joke.
Oh, I know. I'm rusty, apparently. It's been a while. Shit. No, anyways, how was your time off? Your 3 or 4 weeks that we took off, or I think it was 2 to 3 weeks. How was
it? 3 weeks, I think. Semantics. In general, it was pretty great. The weeks of Christmas and New Year's were busy because holidays and stuff.
Sounds about right.
Got some pretty cool Magic things. I finally have a playmat.
Nice. I'll talk about my stuff. When you say things, I always try to think. I always have stuff to immediately go with it, so I'll try to remember my comment about that. Keep going.
I will help you remember.
Good.
The week of Christmas, as a matter of fact, the day it came out in theaters, I went and saw the Assassin's Creed movie.
Nice. Did that come out before our last podcast?
It came out the week after our last podcast.
Right. It was like a day or two before Christmas, and
yes.
The last podcast is posted before, a week before Christmas. So, okay,
yes.
Never mind.
Yeah, it was the following Wednesday after we recorded our last episode.
Right.
For last year. Our last episode for last year. Wow, I can say that.
That's actually true.
But I don't know. I guess I'll talk about it now.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if you wanted to make that like a segment or something. So
I
Pretty cool
mean,
segment.
we how about let's do that after I talk about my break.
All right, sounds good to me.
Sounds good. We definitely have a plan, guys. We're totally not winging this.
Oh nope, totally not.
Anyway,
This is my serious face. We're not winging it.
no,
I'm horrible at poker faces.
I actually have a very good poker face. That's not a lie. I feel like I actually have a really good one. Of course, that's narcissistic to say, but I truly think I have a really good poker face. I mean, I play a lot of Magic competitively, so you know.
You have to have a good poker face for that.
Really quick, shout out to Merherder. His Twitch is hosting us right now.
Oh, well,
So you can find us at more than Frantic Talks. You can find us on the old Frantic J3 the Third and on Merherder right now. We're both live there. If anyone's watching, hello.
Nice. Also, quick shout out to them. Congratulations on them getting married.
Yes.
Past weekend, her.
Him.
Wow, I'm horrible. Him, Merherder, and Bad Alley Cat for getting married last weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. Congrats, guys, if you're listening. Shout out to you guys. About all I can say there. Congratulations. It's awesome. Not trying to downplay it. I legitimately mean that. Oh God, I'm bumping things.
Stop bumping things. All right,
I'm
getting
trying.
back to how my week was.
Right.
I went and saw the Assassin's Creed movie the day it came out. I liked it. I'll cover more of that later. I tried so hard to get an article out about it and video game movies in general, but I couldn't.
Yeah, we got the whole year to do it. You're good.
If it takes me a year to write one article, I am quitting.
I'd be a little upset, but it's okay.
But yeah, it's been pretty good. Otherwise, I've been playing a lot of Dying Light lately with Grunt Dad because he got that for Christmas, and that's a very, very fun game with co-op partners.
I remember when that game came out, I was like kind of interested in it because it seemed really unique compared to most zombie games, and it seemed like the better. What was Dead Island? Because it's made by the same guys. Well, not the same guys, but like the original
Same
people who made it. Yeah.
Same studio.
Is it the same studio? Okay.
It is. Yeah, it's Techland. They made Dying Light, and they made Dead Island and Dead Island Riptide. Dead Island 2, the actual numbered sequel, is being developed by someone else.
Okay.
Because after Riptide, Techland, I think, wanted to do their own thing with Dying Light, and the publishers of Dead Island were like, "No, we want you to do this." And Techland was like, "All right, we'll go do our own thing then."
Oh, okay.
I could totally be making that up too. So
no, that sounds about right. Because when I said it was like I thought it was a different developer, it was because what it really was is they're not doing Dead Island 2, but I thought it was like the guys who originally made Dead Island went and did Dying Light, and now someone else is taking over Dead Island 2, which was my original train of thought. So it sounds about like that's right.
yeah,
it's just that they are the same name studio. I thought they adopted a new name, basically.
Yeah, no, they kept Techland as their name, and then Dying Light was their game, and it's a really fun game. I highly recommend it to anyone that wants a zombie game that's different than something like Left 4 Dead, because when you think of a zombie game, that's pretty much what you think of is Left 4 Dead. At least that's what I think of.
Yeah, that or Resident Evil. But Resident
I was just
Evil's
going to say, some people could think of Resident Evil.
Like the classic Resident Evil survival kind of horror, but not really. Anyways.
That's been fun. Like I said, highly recommend it if you want to check out something different. I think you can get a pretty reasonable price. And the following DLC, the following is the name for it. I explained that, I think, several times.
Probably.
That's also very good. Let's see, 2 more things to mention quickly. I started quasi speedrunning a game.
Which was Outlast. Because I have it.
That game is super easy to actually speedrun once you get the hang of all the skips and that stuff.
Yeah.
My first run wasn't timed, but a rough estimate of how long it took me, because I had our friend Freak Show guide me through it. He taught me basically how to do it, and like I said, super easy. It took me about an hour and a half to get through it once, and I got free achievements, which is good.
Free achievements are always good.
Yes. And then last Thursday, this is a hilarious story, and this is how I will end my How Was My Week, since I'm rambling on now.
Yeah.
We've been playing D&D.
Mm-hmm.
I've mentioned that several times on the podcast before. My cleric character, my level 6/5 actually cleric, got killed.
Oh.
But I prayed to my character's god, rolled a 3, and then added some modifiers and got 6. And then our DM, which is Freak Show, was like, you know what? Let's see if God can beat your roll. God rolled a 1. So I essentially cheated death, and my cleric still lives. And that, oh god, that's probably going to be the best thing I ever remember from any D&D campaign from here on out.
So, in terms of character development on your character, so why did Freak Show roll against your roll? What you prayed to him doing what exactly? Saying, I don't want to die?
Basically, well, I was technically already dead.
Okay.
Because in the way he played it out was, as I was getting killed, I like screamed out and prayed to my god that please save me or something like that. And I rolled to see if I actually could roll high enough to have it happen. And I'm like, rolled a 3, added my modifiers. I'm like, well, I'm dead.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what his reasoning was behind rolling, because I tend to not rolling against my roll. I tend to not ask things like that because it makes my head hurt. So I really don't know why he did that.
Right, because I'm trying to think of it this way. So if your character was beating, it would I don't know, because since you beat his roll, I don't know why you would come back to life. It's almost as if he's rolling to stop you from coming back to life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I said, I have no idea why.
I guess what to ask.
All I know is it's a hilarious story.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's really funny. I'm glad you're not dead. I just was trying to think of a way to spin it to where your character maybe could have development and resentment for his god or something like that, and you could still spin it that way, as in you prayed to your god and said, "Please save me," and you were saved, and you could see it in two different avenues. You could either see it as, "Oh, my god is great and I'm alive," or you could see it as, God has said we're mortal and things should not come back. I'm equivocally an undead person, and clerics hate the undead, or something. You know what I mean? Like your character could develop into from lawful good to like a neutral, maybe even chaotic in a sense, like chaotic good, like my God doesn't know what's good for us, may I do, or something like that. But you still draw divine powers. I don't know. It seemed like it could be a really good opportunity to path your character another way, but
you're giving me ideas. Stop that.
Well, I feel like that would be a lot of fun. So
it would be.
Okay.
So yeah, it was just like I should be dead, but I'm not really. So I cheated death,
mm-hmm.
And that will end my week. My weeks.
Okay.
How are yours?
Yeah. Mine were really, really busy. So basically, from the Friday before Christmas all the way till like the Thursday after Christmas, I was busy. Is the best way to put it. I have family in Illinois, which is where Grunt lives. Not in Grunt City, of course. But I had to text him and let him know my disdain for Illinois. That was a funny fucking conversation. Not to toot my own horn, but it was really funny.
You quite clearly hate the state.
It's not as much as I hate it, as much as I just wanted to find reasons not to like it. The sun sets at like 3 in the afternoon.
It does not.
Why? Yes, it is setting at 3 in the afternoon.
No, it's not.
It's 3 in the afternoon here right now, and it's still plenty of light coming from this window over here.
And there's still light coming from my window. Granted, I'm like an hour behind you, but still.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is you're an hour behind me, and then you get the equivocally the same sunlight. So when it gets dark here at 6, it's 5 o'clock at your place dark, which is annoying to me. So
you just don't like my time zone. That's all. That's
it
boils down to.
You're not wrong. But no, I visited family, but that lasted until like Wednesday of the week after Christmas. My family decided not to do stuff on Christmas and instead do it like a day or two after, so that was really weird. I don't know why we did that. Other than that, though, nothing crazy really happened. You know, I've been playing some video games like Destiny, and I still have yet to pick up Dishonored, although I've had it for nearly a month now. I'm kind of mad about that. I'm mad at myself, not the fact that it hasn't been played. Because I just haven't picked it up and played it. I've been like, every time I've gone to play something, I'm like, I could just play Destiny. Because I've been really enjoying Destiny recently.
Or Rocket League.
Or Rocket League. I haven't played as much Rocket League as probably the last time we did the podcast, or the last podcast, but it's always a good one. I've just been busy doing other random shit, you know? I just finished playtesting a new Modern deck with Luke right before this podcast, actually. That is looking actually very promising. I'm excited about it. One of the new cards that's getting printed in the new set, Aether Revolt, is going to make that deck better than it was. So that's really nice. Beyond that, like I said, nothing really crazy. I do have like New Year's resolutions and stuff that, you know, I don't want to be your typical person who's just like, oh, I'm going to change my life. I'm just like, no, I'm just going to put a better effort into doing stuff I know I need to be doing. And the only two that I can think of, well, the only two I really thought of, is eating healthier, because that's always a good resolution, always a good thing to look out for. But it's something I've done before and just kind of abandoned, so I know I can do it. It's not like I'm saying, oh, I'm going to go to the gym 5 times a week when I never went to the gym before. I'm actually just going to watch what I eat and slowly start feeling better, and maybe do a little bit of a walking routine. The Air Force Museum is not far from where I live.
I'm super jealous about that.
It's very big, the museum itself, and walking around it, I walked like 3 or 4 miles this past Sunday with my lady friend. We went there and walked it, and it was tiring, and we didn't even get through the whole thing. But it wasn't the first time I'd gone either, so I didn't care. But it, you know, something like that where it's just like small steps and stuff I know I can do to make myself better. And then the other thing is that guitar in the back corner here, it's my back right, but it's the back left on screen. The black one that's not in the case is going to be played the hell out of for the next, hopefully, 6 months is what I'm aiming to do, because I want to cover my favorite album by Dream Theater. And by cover, I mean literally record the video and upload it to YouTube. So that album is Metropolis Part 2, Scenes from Memory, if anyone's curious and wants to listen to how stupid that album is. But so far, I've learned 10 seconds of 2 songs, and it's hard. Hey, I've only been at it for 7 days.
Yes. You can do it, though.
But those are the only 2 things I really said. Just like, you know, I know how to count calories. I understand nutrition of food. I actually really interested in stuff like that, so it helps. Trying different foods and just cutting back, you know. I mean, it's something as simple as when you go to a restaurant, don't order an entree because an entree is like 3 servings. Order like, you know, side item. Or an appetizer, or split the entree with the person you're with if you want to do that. You know, I order pizza a lot, which is not healthy at all, but, you know, if I want to watch myself, I just take half the pizza out, put the other half in the fridge, and don't look at it ever. I actually did that earlier today. I really want the other half of that pizza right now. So, mental discipline, but, I mean, that's really all I'm trying to do. And to extend that to everyone else, I'd love to hear anybody else's New Year's resolutions, if any. I won't talk down to you, I promise. Most people, when you tell them your resolution, it's like, oh, right, well, you'll be done with that in a week. Well, fuck you, It's been a week, and I'm already doing it.
Boom. Just pick up your mic and drop it. Don't actually do that.
Yeah, that's an expensive microphone. We're not gonna do that.
Also, trash your audio, too.
Yeah, it would. That would be like...
What was that? Did the world explode? No, Fran just dropped the mic, literally.
I dropped the mic, but it was quite loud. So anyways, that's really an update on me. Just working on being better at eating food and playing guitar, because I love playing guitar and I just haven't really picked it up too much in the past couple of months. Really, the past year. It's hard to balance hobbies when you don't have crazy amounts of free time.
I mentioned it is.
Struggle is real. Anyways, let's talk about Assassin's Creed the movie. I have yet to see it. I'm interested in seeing it. So I will start off by saying I've seen reviews for it that are not necessarily good, but to preface that, there are certain movies that a lot of people say are good, but then the critics hate. For instance, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies of the 1990s, which I mentioned to Grunt before. Those are like the ones that kind of, Well, they aren't the ones that made TMNT popular because that was the cartoon, but it was kind of what followed them, and they were, TMNT fans love the first two. Normally, not to put you all in the same bag. I love them. The third one's awful, and pretty much everything after that they've done has not been good, except the animated one from like the mid 2000s. But pretty much any TMNT movie that's ever existed has been ridiculed by critics. Same with certain movies I enjoy, like The Watchmen. That's one of those movies you either love or hate.
It's actually a good movie. I saw it a few weeks ago.
It is an amazing
Not
movie.
a few weeks ago, a few months ago, actually, and it's actually really good. I liked it.
It is one of my favorites. So what I'm trying to say is that just because the critics don't like it doesn't mean it's not good.
All right.
Because reviews, as we've said before, are all subjective. So
All right.
that being said,
that's one reason why I don't really. I'll read a review, but it's like I'm not going to base my decision completely around it because my opinion will definitely differ from that person writing that review.
Exactly. And last night I was out eating food with some friends, and we were talking about movies that we still needed to go see, or movies that we had seen. Like one of my friends had seen Suicide Squad more recently than. I saw it when it came out, but they had seen it more recently. And they were talking about, like, I was like, you've seen Rogue One, have you seen this? And I said, I still want to go see the Assassin's Creed movie, and this is my group of friends that I've been playing video games with for a long time. And they were like, yeah, it'd be interesting to go see. And then one of my friends says, it seems like with video game movies, because of how long the storylines are, they tend to have to rush it all. And he thinks, doesn't know, Grunt, you could probably either confirm or deny, that the problem with Assassin's Creed is trying to do the old storyline and the Animus storyline at the same time. And I don't know if that caused issues with the plot, but he came up with a cool idea that even if it didn't have this issue, I would love to see this, where it's just the movie about the assassins back in the day, and the next thing you know, Michael Fassbender wakes up and is like, what? What is going on? I was just in olden times. And it's like, oh, you're in the Animus. And then it cuts to black and we're waiting on a sequel. That'd have been pretty kick-ass. But that's not at all what they did. So, Grunt, I would let you talk now. Because I haven't even seen the movie, and I've probably talked way more about it than I need to.
Nah. Going to start off with, I think your one friend is actually quite close to what a lot of the people had with problems with the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because it does seem rushed. Both me and my dad, that's exactly what we thought. Is it seemed like they kind of rushed through everything. They left some spots that couldn't have been. Or they left some spots very short where they could have maybe expanded on it. Like spoilers for probably the next minute or so, just so you know.
La 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 la.
All right. But there's a scene in there. It's more so towards the end of the movie, but they use the Animus to find where the Apple of Eden is, and they eventually find out that the Apple of Eden was given to Columbus. Yes, the Columbus that sailed the ocean blue in 1492. And it was given to him and buried with him. Well, historical facts has it to where no one really knows where Columbus was actually buried. So there's different legends in that say he's buried here in like Spain, there in Spain, here is America, whatever. Then there's also other parts of it that say he's buried elsewhere in the world. They had it in the movie to where it was basically just, Columbus was buried with the Apple of Eden. We'll go to where he's buried at and get the Apple of Eden. Well, I felt they could have expanded on that because of the actual historical legend in that. Mm-hmm. So they could have, maybe not rushed that part so much, expanded on a little bit more. But I think that also goes back to what you said, where they had to fit the two storylines, both modern day and the storyline from the old world assassins, into the same movie.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Overall, I really enjoyed the movie. I think it's a movie more so meant for fans of the series to see.
Yeah.
Not just your average moviegoer that walks into the theater and is like, I want to see a movie today. I'm going to go see Assassin's Creed.
Right. Yeah, it's a fan service in a way.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I'm going to tie this into what I want to write about the movie too, which that article I mentioned I didn't work on for the rest of last year. I think that's really more so the way video game movie adaptions of video games need to work, is they need to go more so for fan service instead of appealing to the general public and trying to get as many people to just plain watch the movie as possible.
Yeah.
Because if you have a good movie and your fans of the series like it, they'll spread that word to everyone else, and they have friends that maybe don't play the video game series or play games at all, and they'll say, hey, he's talking about that movie. I want to go see that movie. Then that's when you get your general public to go see the movie and say, yeah, it's a good movie.
Okay. Yeah, I can agree with that.
I thought
definitely.
Another thing I liked about the movie was the fight scenes and the choreography for the parkour was really well done.
Okay.
It's a small thing with the movie, but it looks cool.
No. The small things tend to make the movies, or tend to make a movie really good. There's all kinds of small things in, like, Lord of the Rings, for instance, that if you don't know what to look for, you wouldn't see it. Mm-hmm. Just an example, like, you've seen Lord of the Rings, right? Like, you just recently saw it, didn't you? Or am I thinking of something else?
I just recently saw the Fellowship of the Ring. But I've got a friend of mine let us borrow his copies of the movie, and I've sort of got the first 3 movies, I think, or 3 movies. But I have yet to see them. I've seen one of them, and I've seen bits and pieces of the other one, but I will eventually see them. Because we've got them, so I might as well watch them.
Right, yeah, no, what I was going to say is in like the Two Towers, for example, and this isn't really much of a spoiler as much as there's a part where you see how many orcs there are, just like in this army, and it's kind of zooming in and out of them. What's really absurd is that you would think they wouldn't put much effort into all of those orcs. And by that I mean, when you realize how much effort was put into them, you're like, Jesus Christ. There's supposedly 10,000 of them. I don't know if there's actually 10,000 that they did this for, but every orc that's seen on screen has his or her own story. Told by the armor and stuff they wear. No armor is cool. Yeah, no armor is the same from what I remember, because they're all different in telling their own stories.
That's actually very cool.
Yeah, so little stuff like that, and that's usually how I find lots of really cool things, and lots of that's how I usually am in love with certain things. When I find all those little details, I'm just like ecstatic. Which is something I love about the Lord of the Rings example. I mean, there's other movies. A lot of the Marvel superhero movies, they tend to throw in little Easter eggs in the background, so that always makes me giddy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, little stuff. It matters, I think, for sure. So, we're going to move into some other topics here, but before we do, I do want to mention my thought on the playmat, because I remember that I was going to say something, and you didn't. The playmat... you got a playmat. What is the art? I'm actually curious. Or do you not know?
It has something to do with Liliana. I know, it's behind me. I grab it, but I destroy everything here.
Oh, okay. That's fair. I just got my Christmas present from Luke earlier today when he showed up, and it's a playmat container. Because I have like 3 or 4 playmats, but I don't have anything to carry them in. And it's not just a tube. It's actually like imagine a triangle, but more rounded, so it doesn't like roll around.
Mm-hmm.
So he got that for me, and it's pretty awesome.
Oh, that's very cool.
I'm excited about that.
Very cool.
Anyways, all right, so we got a couple of things we're going to talk about briefly. I know we've spent the first half hour of this podcast talking about just really personal stuff, but a lot of the news and stuff that's going around right now isn't too terribly interesting. There's a lot of most anticipated games, which we'll talk about at the end here, just kind of like what we're looking forward to more than what we already had mentioned on our Game of the Year awards. But there are 2 things that I do want to note really quick that I have here open. I'm going to open them up here. First up is something related to Steam. Native Xbox controller support comes to Steam, and this kind of sounds weird, and I'm going to try to explain it in the most simplest of terms that I can. Oh my god, this shirt has a hole in it. I just got this shirt on my birthday this last year. It's a band shirt. I'm upset about that. I mean, it's not noticeable. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just like, I'm pulling my shirt down and I feel a hole and I'm just upset. What the fuck? Okay, so native Xbox controller support. So You might be saying to yourself, wait a minute, I already play Xbox 360 controllers with my Steam games. What does this mean? So basically, from what I read and what I understand, and if this is wrong, I apologize. Feel free to correct me via Twitter or whatever. If you're using the Steam controller and a game supports the Steam controller, you can map different buttons, right? Well, usually the game has to support an Xbox controller as well, or you have to like really hack third-party software. Normally you don't have to deal with this because most games that are put on PC tend to accept these, but in the rare instance that it doesn't, the Xbox controllers will now work if it supports the Steam controller. That's what I understood from this article, because games already do kind of support Xbox controllers, but Xbox One controllers as well will work. Not that they didn't necessarily work before, but they will. So the only other question that remains is how do I connect an Xbox controller to my PC? There are two ways that I know of. First, you get a wired controller, which are specially made to plug into USBs. Well, not specially made, that's how they work, but you can buy them at like Best Buy or something. Those exist. Or you get a a controller dongle, which I do have here. I will show you.
He has proof.
I'm going to unplug it from my computer, and you're probably going to hear that notification. Oh, come on. Yep, there it went. Okay, so you probably heard that. Anyways, this is a not a Wi-Fi. Why do I keep saying Wi-Fi? This is an Xbox 360 controller dongle, and this plugs in, installs its driver, and then this will connect up to 4 Xbox 360 controllers to your computer. So that's how you would connect like a wireless controller. Now, I don't believe it works for Xbox One because I believe Xbox One... Is it on Bluetooth?
I honestly have no idea. It might be, but I'm not 100% sure.
I know that Xbox 360 controllers connect via a different wave, is the best way to put that. So they wouldn't work with that, but I'm pretty sure you can get wired ones or you can get other ones. Also, this works with Raspberry Pi, by the way. I know we talked about that before, but if you're ever wondering how you're going to connect controllers to it, you can connect 4 Xbox 360 controllers to a Raspberry Pi. That's how that works. That's my plan. Anyways.
There you go.
So, that's what this means. If I've informed you incorrectly, if someone listening knows better than I do from what I read, let us know. I can easily just correct that by, I don't know, tweeting. I do apologize if that's incorrect, but that's basically what I got from this. Small little thing.
We'll put a little anecdote somewhere in there.
Yeah, we'll do that. So, next up is an announcement for Injustice 2. The release date has been announced. So, this ties into, like, anticipated games. I'm really excited for this game because I like the first one. My friends and I played it a lot. But Injustice 2 is coming out on May 16th of this year, right before my birthday. So, birthday gift idea, fellow listeners / grunt. So,
hint, hint.
Hinty, hint. So that's cool. So that will be awesome. I'm sure we will get some more details as the game approaches release date. Probably a couple more trailers, maybe some characters. Should be fun. I mean, there have already been characters that are revealed, but
we'll probably eventually get the full character list. If not that, at the very least, most of it. I'd say probably 70 to 80% would be a good amount of characters.
Yeah, same. So, speaking of anticipated games, Polygon's writers released their most anticipated games of 2017, more of a top 5. Now, I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm going to give you cliff notes. A lot of the stuff I saw was Destiny 2, Resident Evil 7, For Honor, Horizon Zero Dawn, lots of that. Some Nintendo games, some really obscure indie games like Cuphead, and that's basically a lot of the stuff I saw. And to be fair, we don't know about any other games. Like, I mean, for instance, at E3, we could get an announcement like Fallout 4 where they're just like, oh, this is coming out in 4 months. So there's some games that we don't know about, I'm sure. But for the most part, we know...
Gearbox.
Yeah, that. That could happen. But in terms of stuff we're anticipated for, I know we already kind of said some of the ones that we're really anticipated for, but we picked stuff that had more set release dates and names. One I do want to talk about, and it's because I saw it in here, is Destiny 2, and I know we don't have information to go off of, but that's one I'm excited for the more I think about. So with my job, how it works, I get 15 days of vacation, if you ever needed to know that. I get that on the first day of the year. and I can use that whenever. And I was kind of mapping out the days I wanted to take off, right? And I'm looking down like Origins Game Fair in Columbus when we go to the Smithy Awards, which is shitty movie awards. I definitely want to take that off, but it's only going to be like a day off. My birthday happens to be the day before Memorial Day, so I don't need to take that off. I just get a free day off essentially. Looking at like vacations that I might take, I don't know yet. But the other thing I had written down was, video game releases. I can take a day or two off and just play all day. So I started to think about what games I want to do that with, and nothing sparked my interest except Destiny 2. But it doesn't have a release date. So that got me thinking about it, and I'm just like, I really want this to be everything that Destiny is, but better. Which is easily, I don't want to say easily done, which is possible. Very possible. So I don't want to say it's the most anticipated game of 2017 for me, but I can't think of a better way to put it, because it really is. And I don't know about you, Grunt, but
I mean, if it does come out this year, it definitely will be probably my most anticipated among others. The whole problem is when I do stuff like this, I especially most anticipated is I see one game and I see another one. It's like, but I'm both excited for that, just not the same. So it's like, definitely, if Destiny 2 does come out this year, I'll be very excited for it, along with many other games that are also supposed to come out this year.
Something I want to note about Destiny 2, there's all this speculation around it, and the one thing that bothers me the most are the people who just think very narrowly. And I guess we can't really control how other people think. That'd be stupid. But when someone's sitting there saying, I hope it's, when we get back in, we'll have our Stormcallers, our Sunforger, all our classes and stuff, and there's just bigger worlds to explore, and they think so narrowly about it. And it's really hard to put what I'm saying into words, to be truthful with you, but I really hope that people who are thinking about the game and trying to sit there and guess what's coming realize that we could get 25% what we have now and 75% entirely new stuff. And I don't mean new weapons. I mean mechanics. I mean worlds. And I mean all kinds of new stuff that we never even realized were going to come. I can see that happening. And I feel like that should be the path they take. That's the path I want them to take. Because I don't want it to be, it's been 3 years and now we're just, Call of Dutying it. Every expansion that's come out so far has added a new enemy with mildly new mechanics, and while they have been good and bad here and there, I've enjoyed them, don't get me wrong. I feel like we should not at all just sit here and say another glorified expansion with better graphics. I feel like it's got to be overhauled to the next level. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So I would encourage you, not shun you, since it sounds like that's what I'm saying. I would encourage you to try to keep your mind open to a more, what's the right word? Not more diverse, but
expansive.
Yeah, expansive, and not even in the sense of just like when I say expansive, I imagine people think, oh, bigger worlds. Of course, we want bigger worlds. A lot of it was open world, but really narrow. That's not what I mean. I mean, everything could change. Maybe the only similarity is you have a ghost and you have the classes that derive from your Stormcallers or whatever. They come from the elements, and that's it. That could be the only things we get. Titans could get triple jump. I don't know. It's just the possibilities are so endless. We shouldn't just narrow it down to here's what Destiny has. How can they improve it? Which is what I fear a lot of people will do.
Yeah.
And if we don't get to carry our characters' progress over, I don't think I'll be too sad because it's theoretically a new game, but I would be upset if I didn't get to at least keep, well, they don't have names, how they look, I guess, is the best way to put it. Like, we're going to come into, if we're keeping our characters, we're fucking legends. We've killed Oryx, we've taken down Siva, we've done all kinds of crazy shit. What's the Archon dude? Not Taniks. The bigger one.
Skolas?
Skolas, yeah, we've taken down Skolas. We've taken down gigantic monsters. It's like you can't start at level 1. But we can come into it like, Atheon. We've also beaten him.
Crota, many times over.
Killed Crota 100 times, right? So
Skolas, Oryx, everything from the Prison of Elders.
Vex.
The Vex.
So what I'm trying to say is if we get to carry our characters over, we shouldn't restart them, but we should come in as very skilled characters and being able to do things, but in a whole new world that we don't understand.
Yeah.
I think that would be the best way to do it. Introduce all kinds of new stuff, like there's a siren happening in the background. I hope you can't hear that. I don't know.
I heard it for just a brief second, so.
I realize it's supposed to be about most anticipated games, and it is. It's my most anticipated game this year, assuming it does come out this year. But it just always bothers me when people are like, "Oh, the next, treat it like Call of Duty. The next Call of Duty. Oh, we have these guns, and we have this new mechanic where we can double jump. All right, new game, $60, please." That's not what it should be, and if it is, that'll be the biggest disappointment of 2017, easily. Even past 5 years potentially. In terms for me personally. So that's my 2 cents.
In regards to Destiny, I'd like to see them. I have mixed feelings about it because I'd like to start over from fresh, new game, new content basically. But like you said, I have attachments to my characters. I just got my Nemesis star the other day, as a matter of fact, which is the last weapon I needed for my collection to be complete again, outside of the new icebreaker, but I had that, whatever. So I'd like to see him take some stuff that we know now and expand upon that.
Mm-hmm.
Make it not necessarily better, like you said, but change it a little bit,
mm-hmm.
to where it's different. Like maybe our Stormcaller Warlock, instead of roaming around like Emperor Palpatine, he was always referred to as.
Yeah.
Instead of roaming around for that, maybe make it to where he summons like some sort of lightning storm over groups of enemies, something.
Or turn him into a fucking warlock and let him summon electricity familiars, for fuck's sake. That would be cool. Anyways.
Yeah, something, change. Maybe make it to where the stuff we know now changes differently, and then we get whatever new stuff they're brainstorming for us.
Yeah, it's fine to have familiarity.
Yeah.
It's in my opinion, it's wrong to cling to it. So
right.
I hope it takes it in very new directions, but still keeps in the familiarity. Like you're saying, we can have your Stormcaller, you can have your Sunsinger, you can have your Voidwalker. But
don't you get rid of that Voidwalker.
But change them enough to where it's not just Nova Bomb 3.0 or, Tickle Fingers 3.0 or self-resing 3.0. Like, I would love to see a Warlock super that uses Sunsinger that doesn't res. I don't know what they would do, but that's not my job to think of.
Yeah.
It's my job to tell you do better, but it's not my job to think of it. Oh man, classic manager level there. But anyways, I don't have much else to add to that conversation. And in terms of anticipated games, I'm excited to see Resident Evil 7 because it seems like it's gonna be awesome. For Honor, my buddy has been like rambling on about it forever because he loves like the chivalry type games and really is looking forward to that. I forget what Horizon Zero Dawn is supposed to be about. I know the name, I forget off the top of my head, but that's another one I think will be probably pretty cool from everything I've heard about it. And by heard about, like, I can't tell you what the game is, but I've heard many people clamoring over it. Injustice 2, like I said, seems great. I really hope there's a Borderlands 3.
Better be.
I think 2017 should be good if it keeps pace, but there's all kinds of stuff that could happen from now to the end of the year. I don't know. It seems like we'll definitely be looking back, of course, and talking about it, and I'm looking forward to everything that's coming. And I don't have a point really here at this point. I'm just kind of saying, I'm excited, and I hope it isn't awful.
Great.
I hope we don't get, what was it? Was 2015 the year where all kinds of crap was terrible, and it was supposed to be really good?
2015 it was, yes. Pretty sure it was that. If it wasn't, it was 2014.
It was one of those years, and I hope we don't repeat that.
I think 2015 was the year we got all the possible HD remakes we wanted.
Yeah, well, what was the year where they just released 100 broken games in one year? It was Master Chief Collection year, so 2014.
That would be 2014, yeah.
Yeah, man, it's been that long since that came out. Jesus, it still doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
God damn it! Yeah. Let's hope it's not another 2014 where there was a lot of awesome, promising names and nothing lived up to the hype beyond like a few select things. There's a lot of awesome, promising things coming this year in the Nintendo Switch. Like I said, most of the games I already mentioned: For Honor, Resident Evil, maybe Destiny, Borderlands if it's possible, Injustice. All these awesome things coming. I really hope they live up to 90% of the hype, because there's no way it lives up 100%.
Yeah,
So.
I'm actually pretty anxious. On one episode, Game of the Year episode, I said I was anxious for Ghost Recon Wildlands. I'm still anxious for that one.
I forgot about that one. That another one looks great.
They're supposed to be releasing a new trailer here, I think maybe next week. I'm not sure. I heard something about them releasing a new trailer soon, though.
I tried to sign up for the beta, so I might get into that.
I never could do that because their site wasn't working for me every time I checked. I'm sad now.
Or did I get actually signed up? I don't remember. I think I did. We'll find out.
There's like We Happy Few. I'm pretty sure that might come out this year. It's still in development.
Yeah.
So maybe it might even be pushed back to next year.
Sounds about right.
Comes out. And those are just a couple I can think of right off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
You know, anything that maybe pops up that comes out later in the year that they announced at E3.
Oh yeah, Halo Wars 2 is in March. I forgot about that. Or February.
Next month, wow.
It's February or March, I don't remember, but it's very soon. That one will be interesting. I like the original one, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. And it looks promising, like I said, so here's hoping.
Just hope that 2017 doesn't be 2014 and turn out to be the year where games die.
Right, yeah, I know. I mean, like, it's not going to follow like an every 3 years type trend, so that's good, because 2011 gave us Skyrim and Batman, Arkham City, and Portal 2, and a lot of other games. I remember these all from like the Spike Video Game Awards. So it's not an every 3 years type thing.
Mm-hmm.
If that means anything to you. I'm literally just trying to reassure our hopes. Anyways, okay. I think that about does it. Do you have anything else you want to add, or you think we're good to go?
I'm pretty anxious to see what gets announced this year too. Not for release this year, but what gets announced. What do we have to look forward to maybe a year or two down the road from now? Because one game, and it's probably because I've been on an Assassin's Creed kick since I saw the movie, and I want to play through the games again. That's a story in itself. But I really am curious to see what they do with the next installment for the game series, because the reason it's not coming out this year or didn't come out last year is because they're taking a break from the basically annual release cycle they were getting into.
Which most people rejoiced about that.
Yes, because as much as I loved Syndicate and the fact that it felt like a good classic Assassin's Creed game, you can tell that at this point it's starting to get a little stale. They need something to mix it up. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what they have in mind to do, but I'm very curious to see how they pull it off.
Yeah, I'm definitely there with you. So,
and that's all I had to say.
Okay, cool. So I'd love to hear what you guys think. What are your? I know we probably asked this on the Game of the Year podcast, but what are you guys looking forward to? This year, even this month. Resident Evil 7 does come out this month, 24th, I think. So, what are you looking forward to? That's coming soon, coming later, potentially coming this year. Even next year potentially. I know there's probably stuff that's been announced that I'm not aware of. I'd love to hear that.
Gets announced this year.
Anything you hoping to get announced? I know we're hoping to hear everything about Destiny 2 ever, and hoping Borderlands 3 comes out of the mud. That'd be
Do
really,
it now,
really
Gearbox.
Cool. Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, beyond that, like I said earlier, I'd love to hear your guys' like New Year's resolutions and stuff like that. They're not meaningless. I know I kind of gave that idea, but as long as it's on your mind, I feel like eventually you'll get to it. So, that sounded really condescending. You know what I meant. So,
all right.
Okay. All right. So, if you guys want to continue the conversation, head over to Twitter. I am at FranticJ3. Over there. There he is. He is at Onyx Spartan, ONYX Spartan, all one word. And then at Frantic.
Right here.
He's right there. At Frantic_talks is the official Twitter account for us if you want to talk more at us than to us. Beyond that, you can head to frantictalks.com. That is the mothership where you will find all relevant links that I'm going to announce here in a minute, along with podcasts. Magic.frantictalks.com will be Magic the Gathering. All that fun stuff is there. Head to facebook.com/Frantic Talks, all one word. Podcasts and stuff will be posted there. Head over to twitch.tv/Frantic Talks. You can see us live like we are right now. Or, no, that's about right. I think I'm archiving all the podcasts too, so you can actually watch it on there and YouTube. It's just you'll only see the latest episode on Twitch. YouTube has them all. But twitch.tv/Frantic Talks, live every Saturday, normally, at 3 p.m. Eastern, normally. Because asterisk. Follow us on Twitter, and we'll usually let you know if stuff changes. Beyond that, like I said, YouTube, you can get to YouTube via searching Frantic Talks on YouTube and subscribing, or you can head to the Frantic Talks website, click on a podcast, you'll see the YouTube video for every podcast in each, podcast post, and you can watch it from there, click into it, subscribe, check out our other videos, all that fun stuff. We're on iTunes, search Frantic Talks. Really, just go to the Frantic Talks website or search Frantic Talks. Odds are you'll find us. So I think that about does it. Anything else, Grunt?
Nothing specific other than also looking forward to 2017, hoping the Cubs can somehow repeat. Yes. to be amazing. It'd just be amazing. There was something I forgot to leave off of my 2016 good things that happened in our last episode.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
Gonna hang my head and shake that.
Good job. I guess I'm looking forward to the Tennessee Titans having a really good season, hopefully. It's all looking promising. All right. That about does it, guys. We'll be back next Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern on Twitch, or you can check out the podcast when it's uploaded. Either way, looking forward to a whole another year of podcasts. Next episode, the Big 5-0. Should be fun. Ooh. We should try to plan something special. Like a countdown or something. And we'll find out. All right, anyways, I'm Frantic, guys.
I'm Grunt.
And we'll see you next time.